Thanks. Surprising statistics, almost half of all first marriages end in divorce, and the number is even higher for second marriages. If divorce becomes a reality for you, how do you prepare, especially financially? Joining us every week to talk money is our financial advisor, Elaine Beadle. Good afternoon. This is kind of a really surprising topic, but, are family finances one of the reasons that people divorce?
Well, there's a yes and no answer to that. It's really not the amount of wealth or lack of wealth that is a factor in divorce. It's really money attitudes and where they might be differing. If one's a spender and one's a saver, if one doesn't mind having a lot of debt and the other hates debt, or if one is always spend for the day versus live for the day versus plan for tomorrow. Those are the kind of attitude differences that sometimes are what causes finances to be one of the things. But what we see as another major factor is the age at which you do marry. And, divorce rates are trending down a little bit, and you can see that from the age of people as well. For example, today the average age of a woman is 27 for a first marriage and a man 29. Well, in the 1990s, that was 23 for women, 26 for men. And in the 1960s, it was 20 and 22. So you can see we've moved up that scale, so that kind of bodes well.
Interesting statistics to look at the change over the years. But, if it just comes to a total breakdown where the only answer is divorce, how do you prepare for that?
Well, there's really only two big issues to deal with. One is the financial resources and how those are divided, and then if there's children, how we handle the children issues. But when you look at the financial resources, and it can be complicated, but what I call it when I deal with some people is a lot of times they go to a fear factor. It's like, well, I have enough to maintain my lifestyle. Do I need to go back to work? Can I afford the house? And unless they really have a good handle on what the situation is, they can't make a decision because they just don't know the answer to those questions. So, I really advise people to get a good listing of the assets the family has, not just the house and the cars, but the retirement accounts, the insurance, the pensions, the savings accounts, the investment accounts, and understand what's there to be divided, first of all. What are the income resources coming in? Do you work? Do you need to get a job? Those are questions you need to answer. And then what is that comfortable expenses that I have? Many times spouses don't pay the bill, and both spouses aren't familiar with the living expenses, and they don't even understand what it takes to live.
And real quick, you mentioned children. If that's part of the equation, how do you factor in for that?
Well, a lot of times they think about what do we need to do today for the children? Who has custody? Who pays medical? How do we educate them? That type of thing. But think about 10 years from now. So if they're young children, in 10 years, if they're going to be driving, who's going to get a car for them? If they're going to be in college, how do we pay for college expenses? A lot of times people say, well, we'll think about that later. And I would advise people talk about it today and get something down on paper because, you really need to have, if you don't understand it yourself, you probably need to get someone who can help you through that process, an advisor who can take out the emotions.
All right, Elaine, thank you so much. So much more information about this important topic for you on WTHR.com. Thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome.